Hi, I'm Mark Duncan, Clinical Director at LVI, and I have some critical information for you. Think of this as sort of a private public service announcement. One of the frustrating things about life is you generally can't smell your own stink, but for sure we can smell someone else's. Now, if you've got someone who's important enough that you happen to wake up next to them, then we all want to make sure that we don't start their day out by stinking them out. Remember those commercials, if you could see bad breath? Well, sometimes you can taste it, and the weird thing is that isn't necessarily a great indication of the stink coming out of your mouth. However, the reality is we all have bad breath from time to time, and one of those key times is the dreaded morning breath. Don't think it's just you. Everyone has morning breath to some extent. The simple reality is when we sleep, our salivary flow drops, and that minimizes the natural mouth rinse effect of our saliva, and if it isn't there, it can't buffer the activity of the bacteria or mitigate the acidity in our mouths. So we wake up with a funny taste and worry about foul odor. Well, there are some things that we can and should do preventively to minimize that raunchy stench in the mornings. To begin with, clean your mouth. If you leave your mouth full of food, then you've set up a bacterial orgy in your mouth overnight, and in the mornings your mouth is much more loaded with the odor-causing bacteria than it would had you cleaned it up before you went to bed. Now, this includes being assertive in cleaning your tongue. The natural contours of your tongue are a safe harbor for microscopic bugs that fester and grow overnight. And the more populated your tongue is with these microbes, the worse you smell. It isn't hard to clean your tongue, it just takes remembering before you go to bed to give it a good once-over. Another quick remedy is to stop smoking. Well, maybe that's not so quick, but if you don't want to smell horrible, then you shouldn't be smoking. This applies both inside your mouth and out. The problem in your mouth is that it raises the temperature of the oral cavity as well as drying it out, and that's like supercharging the bacteria that are making you stink. The problem with outside the mouth is that it just plain stinks. And of course, there are many other issues with smoking too, but for sure it makes you smell bad. Now, there's also a lot of medications that cause dry mouth and result in that stink mouth problem in the mornings. These may be more important than the bad smell as they actually keep you alive, but it'd be worth talking to your physician as there are many issues with the dry mouth that can be avoided. Smells are a part of it, but those bacteria that are running unchecked also cause decay in your teeth. One of the most important things to be aware of is the snoring obstructive sleep apnea cascade. If your mouth is open and snoring while you sleep, then you're drying things out and you will smell worse because of it. Even more important is that about half the people who snore and almost all the people who snore loudly are also fighting for their lives while they're asleep. The needless and tragic loss of life at such a young age can be avoided. As our understanding of sleep apnea increases, we've come to realize that it's all but irresponsible to not have a dentist on the team that understands the impact of airway and well-relaxed muscles. In fact, the trend is more and more towards including some sort of dental appliance in any and all sleep apnea treatments as it supports a better physiologic starting point and protects the patient's airway. Some simple reminders, though, for curtailing the stink would be to use the mouth rinse as directed. If it's supposed to be 30 seconds, then 5 seconds won't do it. Brush your teeth for the full 2 minutes before you go to sleep. It actually takes that long to get them clean. Daily oral irrigation is increasingly seen as essential nightly routine as nothing reaches those deeper areas like an irrigator. Maybe a surprise to most of you, but you really should be flossing. It reaches places nothing else can. And so floss. No, seriously, floss. And of course, if you're the first one up, then quietly slip over to the sink and brush those chops. Now, if you're a dentist and you want to know more about OSA or periodontal approaches taught at LVI, please jump over to our website. We've got a lot to share there. And if you aren't one of the dental types, I hope these reminders help you to keep that dreaded morning breath at bay. Either way, don't forget to like us and subscribe. We'll see you next time. I'm Mark Duncan, and I'm going to brush my teeth.